In the last video, I cited an analyst saying that Hong Kong stocks may be too cheap. So in this video, it's only fair that we look at the other side of the arguments and look at zero COVID's impact on China. The short answer to that is that it has been devastating, and many pessimists are now raising the question about how China may be able to survive this. So on the property side of things, home prices have been declining for 12 months straight, and even policy support couldn't quite stop the nosedive. And when it comes to stocks, mainland China's stock market has lost over 1/3 of its value since its 2021 peak, marks the biggest drawdown since 2018. Then with currency, the Chinese yuan, although it's been heavily managed already, is at its weakest against the US dollars in over a decade. So it's really against this backdrop that the market is really desperate for some good news against the COVID rules in China. However, China seems to be more ready to double down on zero COVID than walking away from it. So at this point, it seems that China's top leadership is pretty hell-bent on zero COVID for at least a little bit longer. Although this may seem to go against all the markets as well as the local governments may want. To put this into perspective, let's look at this Bloomberg chart, which says that the market's more worried about China's response to COVID than COVID itself. So the reason for saying that is that the number of COVID cases in China has actually already been significantly reduced. However, the benchmark CSI 300 is actually still trending lower. So what's really happening now is that local governments are really under pressure to prevent another outbreak like what Shanghai has experienced in the summer. As a result, the government became trigger happy in initiating different lockdowns, even though cases may be just a few and far between. So that means the areas in China that consider risky have surged, really disrupting economic activities all over the country. And this has become a vicious cycle, so the entire fight against COVID has become what Bloomberg called a guerrilla warfare. However, it seems to be a guerrilla warfare winning by COVID, slowly sapping the vitality out of China's economy by attrition. Granted, some powers within the systems are trying to boost the China economy, most notably by giving out a lot of goodies. The likes of the finance ministry have cut mortgage rates, asked banks to give out loans to the property as well as the manufacturing sector, and even reduced foreign currency ratios to support the Chinese yuan. However, so long as zero COVID continues to haunt the local governments, these measures likely to have very little impact. The IMF have recently just cut its forecast for China's GDP growth to just 3.2% this year, marking a sharp slowdown from 8.1% last year. And this is China's second slowest in 46 years. It is only better in 2020 when COVID outbreaks really took the economy by surprise. Another way to look at it is that China's GDP growth will fail to outpace the world's average, the first time since 1976. And 1976 is when Mao Zedong died, hence ending the infamous 10-year Cultural Revolution. So it's clear that why businesses in China really want their country to relax COVID rules, but the reality is that this may stay a while. The IMF top official in China had just said that he expects China to exit zero COVID by 2023, so about second half of next year. Anyway, that's about wraps up today's videos. Hope you guys learned something new, and until next time, Money Seafood signing out.